2GR.
Hey everybody, welcome to our Microsoft E3 2018 preview. I'm Sean, this is Rudy, that's Matt. We've got 8 games we're going to talk about today. Some of these are announced, some of these are unannounced, and some of these are just dreams. They're probably not going to happen, but it'd be pretty cool if they were. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each game, and at the end of each game we're going to discuss, should this be a game worth getting hyped for if it shows up at E3? For you personally, but also for
the masses.
So we're going to kick things off with the big game that we know has got to be coming for Microsoft, Crackdown 3.
I feel like we've had this conversation before. Oh, God. Oh. I feel like we've had this exact conversation.
You guys are stoked about it, right?
I don't know if I'd say stoked. I have a lot of good memories of the first one. I didn't play the second one. It should be fun. How do you screw that formula up? But I don't know. Like, nothing I've seen yet. It's been like, ooh.
You're right. Like, Crackdown, I think if people are thinking this is going to be like the first game, get ready to be hyped. Because that game was so much fun. It was so arcadey. Like, you had so much weight and feel to it. Like, if you liked what Saints Row ended up doing in 3 and 4, Crackdown is fantastic. I think maybe one of the take a moment speed bumps is that whole cloud computing piece that they really advertised Crackdown 3 was going to have.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that's even going to be in this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, in the footage we've seen, I don't know, it just doesn't, like, nothing looks crazy impressive to me. The cell shading, there's something, like, definitely not, I mean, for me, it's not, like, hype. Like, I'm cautiously optimistic it could be fun, but I'm not. If they were like, oh, it's coming out in 2 months, I'm like, I'm buying that game. Like,
if you're an Xbox owner, is this something to get? It should.
What are they gonna do? Package like another Halo demo with it, which no one's gonna care about either. So I don't know.
We love Microsoft here at.
It's not a Microsoft problem. Stop dragging your franchises through the mud, okay? Resident Evil had the same problem at one point. That's not a Microsoft franchise. Silent Hills, like, there's plenty of Japanese franchises.
No.
I don't know.
What do you think, Rudy?
So what's next? No, I never played any of them. So, like, my roommate in college had an Xbox, and then my brother-in-law let me play on his Xbox 360, and at the time he got the Xbox One, and all of the main staple titles that we played, or that I played on them, were awesome. I played Crackdown 1 probably like a total of 2.5, 3 hours. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Was it worth me getting the console? Probably not. Plus, I was in college, so I was living off of ramen. But
fair enough.
Crackdown 3, that being said and done, like, it looks fun. If it, like, goes ahead and, like you said, is more like Crackdown 1. I never played Crackdown 2, so I don't know. But
you know, I was living on ramen too. I was in college, and I played it at a LAN center. UCF used to have a LAN center. I used to live there.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the nostalgia is just coming from how much I loved, like, that little slice of gaming history where LAN centers were relevant and stuff. I don't.
Back in the day.
So, we'll keep going because we got a lot of games to get through. I think when Crackdown 3 was first announced, I think it was kind of like a wet fart when it was announced, but that was a game everybody was looking forward to on Xbox. It was like, yeah, the Xbox One versus PS4, it's got whatever, but just hold out. Crackdown's coming. That's one of the games, not the only game.
Yeah.
So it was like a wet fart in that you're not sure if you need to get up and take care of it?
No, wet fart in the sense... in the sense that it was just kind of sloppily thrown out there. It was just like, here's this game, it's called Crackdown 3, we have no idea when it's coming, and we're using cloud computing, yay! Buy a Microsoft Xbox One. Buy a Microsoft Xbox.
It's like a tech demo more than it's a real game.
So
I
we'll
hope.
see. And last year at E3, it was, I can't remember his name, the actor, the big burly dude came out and he was like, "Oh, you got to play this game."
Terry
and
Crews?
yeah, Terry. Yes, thank you, Terry Crews.
Because Terry Crews is just the guy to associate with Crackdown.
Well,
makes sense.
So
look, it could be the Terry Crews of video games. It could be fantastic. It could be like peck flexing and.
I don't know if they know how to sell this game, which worries me a bit. But I'm still hyped to see what's going to end up going on with Crackdown 3.
Yeah,
sure.
I think this next game actually there was some hints at this at the recent Walmart leak.
Well, it's been.
From a week ago.
It's at the 2-year increment, I think.
Yep. So Gears of War Not sure if it's going to be a straight-on Gears of War 5. Matt rolled his eyes, so we know that he's hyped for this. Or if it'll be like a spin-off game, like Gears of War Judgment.
I think there's only been one, which was
on the 360.
After 3, yeah.
After 3,
yeah. It's a prequel. Did either of you play 4?
No.
I got it for free with a GPU when I bought my 1070, actually. Anyway, and it was, look, what was the big thing with the original Gears of War? I mean, it did a lot of great things, and Cliffy B did a fantastic job with it. But what was cool about Gears was that it still had split-screen co-op. One of the rare ones. So me and a buddy were like, hey, let's get our PCs. Like, we'll bring our PCs to the same place. We'll sit there and we'll play it all together. And we did. We played the whole thing co-op, and I was just like, they could not have made all the things I loved about it less interesting. Now, that has nothing to do with Gears of War 5, but I have no hype. That franchise is just as dead as other big Microsoft franchises to me right now,
The Microsoft fans that are watching this right now, should they be hyped for Gears of War if Gears of War shows up? I mean, we've already gotten through two of Microsoft's big IPs.
If you liked the story in Gears of War 4, if you thought it had compelling information and that it reinvigorated the franchise and wasn't just their way to tack on, new crap, then sure, absolutely. If you liked 4, then I'd be hyped for 5. I just don't think 4 offered enough.
You're right.
It just felt like they were trading on nostalgia. It didn't feel like service to the fans so much as it was just kind of like, hey, look, it's next-gen Gears of War.
Wow. I agree with you, Matt. I'm just
this has nothing to do with it being a Microsoft franchise. I love Gears of War and Gears of War 2, but there has been a steady downtrend in that series since the beginning, and I think multiplayer helped keep it alive. It had a very unique multiplayer setup. But I played it online too, and I still was like, it just doesn't hold the way it used to for me. So, but maybe I'm nuts. I am nuts, but who knows with this? So,
are you nuts for Marcus Phoenix?
Oh, totally. No, I frankly, I don't care. It's one of those things that I see the trailers and I'm just like,
if you're nuts for Marcus Phoenix, don't be hyped for Gears of War 5.
Oh, well, spoilers. I don't know. I haven't played Gears of War 4. Spoiler alert.
I think statute of limitations up on that.
That's probably true.
He did. No.
I don't know.
Or is he?
I don't know.
You got Coltrane in there somewhere, I'm sure. Spoilers! I don't know.
Nope.
We'll find out.
Best character in the franchise. Nope.
Well, maybe they'll do an interquel or something like that.
I don't know.
Gears of War, the pre-sequel.
If they did
pre-sequel.
If they did a Cole spin-off, maybe. I don't. It's just, ugh.
All right.
Sorry.
Well,
sorry, Cliffy B.
So
he's having a bad week.
If you've been on the Xbox train this entire time and you've not opened your mind to other things than Gears of War, for sure, people hate us now.
Come on.
Viva Pinata 3. Wow, out of left field. Where are we going with this?
Yes.
The guy who hates Gears of War but likes a game about pinata farming. Excuse me.
Dude, I love Gears of War 1. Shut up. Stop making me feel bad. Somebody else talk about Viva Pinata first.
You were really hyped for this.
I think it was cool. I mean, like I said, I played the first one for a couple hours. It was fun.
He played every game. He's played every Microsoft game for a couple hours.
But dude, it was fun. I think it'd be awesome. I think it might be a way to get the casuals into it and everything, and
it's a very good casual game.
Dude, it's just something that you get home after work and you're just like, all right, I want to just chill.
Yeah.
It's very relaxing.
I picked it up on 360 when it first came out. It was the first game I got 1,000 gamer score on.
Was it a launch
Viva
title?
Pinata. It was not a launch title.
Launch title.
I think it was launch window-ish.
It was early. Yeah, it was early, but
yeah.
I think Viva Pinata was infinitely playable. You could play it. I think it still holds up. If I had it right now at home, I would go boot that game up and be like, man, this is just fun. So yeah, I'd love to see that. I don't know what the odds are, but I don't know. It's adorable.
Never see it coming.
I don't know. Persona reference.
Never.
Yeah, no. It's one of those games that you could have it. I could play it probably 10 years from now and it'll still be good. So why wouldn't I want a new version?
Rare needs a win.
No, dude, Rare really needs a
win. They
win.
need a win, and they probably spent a lot of time on Sea of Thieves. I feel like Viva Pinata would have been an easy game they could have had working by the B team or whatever team, Alpha in the background, and announce it now, have it out by the holidays, and there you go.
Yeah.
That's the treasure that they were looking for the whole time. Okay. However, that said, we've got 2 more potential rare games on this list,
true.
so let's continue on with Banjo-Kazooie. I know Onyx would really like to talk about that.
Look,
But he ain't here, so whatever.
you know what? He's not here, but I mean, in spirit, I have to agree with him. If I'm not mistaken, on like the second podcast, we were evaluating Ukulele, which was meant to be the spiritual successor, and it was a lot of those guys. And as I recall, we were all interested, had suspicions that it wouldn't be good, but the idea that if it ended up being great, of course.
Right.
I would kill for... Look at the window we're in right now. Like, we just all played Mario, and while it wasn't the best Mario ever, it was still a lot of fun. They just re-released all the Crash Bandicoot games in HD. We just got the Spyro announcement, right? Like, this is the era for this.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to do... Like, who
Cash
wouldn't
in
want
now.
that?
Yeah.
If you've never played the original Banjo-Kazooie, it's hard to go back... It's a little hard because it's old. It's
Right.
very, very old. And I wouldn't say that Banjo-Tooie is a great way to enter into that series. So why not make one now that's actually good, you know? I mean, they did it. They even did it with Ratchet and Clank. Freaking Insomnia just did it. And that was actually a fun game, so...
It was. There it is.
Yeah, that's...
I play it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think this would be... It's something you would... If Banjo-Kazooie shows up on screen, you got to get hype.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It probably wouldn't even... Well... I would assume it wouldn't be a remaster, because didn't it get re-released as part of that, the rare pack?
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but yes, they did.
So it would probably be, if they were to do it, it would probably be a straight-up sequel or reinvention of the series.
Rudy, you're like the cream in our Oreo right now, and you're just not... Come on, man.
Dude, like, okay, so... I never had a 64. So, like, I skipped that. And I ended up going with the GameCube. But no, honestly, Banjo-Kazooie, as far as I know, that's probably one of the best platformers for N64, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
If they went ahead and did, like, for that rare collection thing, did they go ahead and, like, kind of up-res it or whatever?
I didn't actually play the re-release with... It was for 360, wasn't it?
No, it was for
Was it
Xbox
for
One.
Xbox
Because
One?
if
Yeah.
it gets...
I didn't play it because I
if
don't have one. So.
that gets the Crash Bandicoot and Trilogy and the Spyro
Yeah.
treatment where they like go ahead and give it a fresh coat of paint and
yeah.
it's like up to, you know, modern standards, I'd be game.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with that.
I mean, I would put that on like Conker's Bad Fur Day level for me if they.
Yeah.
if
Oh,
they
yeah.
Like announce that, that'd be why is that not on this list? That'd be great.
You know, it's
that'd be
not,
fun.
and it's not about whether or not we have played the games. Like,
Yeah.
I've never played a Banjo-Kazooie game, but I just knowing
Wow.
its impact on the industry and the quality level, because I know people have played it.
Ubisoft's freaking press conference, like Beyond Good and Evil. You never touched that game.
Exactly.
But you
But-
almost
oh my
exploded
God.
when
Jumping
you-
out of my
because
chair
you
for
knew-
it.
you know
Exactly.
what- yeah.
So it's the same. It's the same with this.
And you, 3 of like your last 2 games, were Celeste and Donkey Kong, and like, come on, man, like, get hype, okay?
And,
Okay. I got
it'll be cool. It'll be cool.
I gotta say, well, speaking of hype, of all the games on this list, this next one would be the one I would be the most hyped
Really?
for, personally.
Interesting.
You should
Him
all
and-
be hyped for this.
Him and Onyx, like,
The
when it comes to this?
so
Really?
so
Yeah.
Perfect Dark. If they come out with Perfect Dark, if it's Perfect Dark 0 quality, okay, yeah, not so great. But if they can somehow recapture the magic or get close to the original Perfect Dark, I am in on PC. It's gonna be so
PC.
much fun.
Asterisk.
Well, all these games are any game they announce now is
that's
coming to
true.
PC.
It's
Yeah,
all
so,
PC, Xbox,
Xbox,
compatible,
Microsoft,
so
whatever.
makes sense.
Perfect Dark, I'm in.
Yeah.
I see. Okay,
So
this is
in.
the one that I never played the original. I did play 0 and was relatively underwhelmed.
Zero was-
that's a collective thing, though.
it was
a lot of people were
cock-
underwhelmed.
Yeah, which now the original. What's the time frame for the release on that? Like,
90.
Was that like
8?
GoldenEye?
Was it
era?
8?
It was post GoldenEye. Like
Right.
that was the sequel to GoldenEye.
Okay, so that's my question then. This is why I asked that. Is GoldenEye and that, both of them, if you get an announcement that they were doing a new version, you'd be like, oh yeah, but do you really think that it could ever be, because part of the charm is that it came out at the right time and blew things up in a way that had never been blown up before. Can they do that again? Can it be that good again?
I think they can, and here's why. And actually, Perfect Dark 0 did this, but they didn't do it as well as the original game, and it had to do with offline couch co-op multiplayer, because you could add bots, and there's plenty of games, not plenty, but there's games that add bots to multiplayer. You can customize not just their difficulty, but like how, like this kind of sim always goes for rockets, or this sim will only go after the person that killed it last. Like there's different tiers. And then in addition, you unlock so many different types of weapons and customization options and levels and music tracks, and you have a level up system, and you've got an award system. So there was on the N64, there were so many different systems in that multiplayer.
So it was known for online play.
It was offline. Perfect Dark was an offline game.
So, but it was all just simulated multiplayer.
Yeah, but it was because you could play 4-player co-op. They since re-released Perfect Dark on Xbox Live Arcade back on the 360 days. I'm assuming you can play it on Xbox One. I don't know that for sure. I bought it again. The multiplayer was so good, and its campaign also had the thing where it was like, if you play it on normal, you have these 2 objectives. If you play it on hard, there's a couple extra objectives you got to do. If you play it on the highest, you got to do all these crazy things. So its campaign, it was a, gosh, I don't want to use the word flawless, but it was very, very, very high up there. Yeah, and if they can recapture that in a sequel.
I always just worry about those games that are like, you know, in my youth, whether it was PC or N64 or Sega Genesis or whatever, and especially the stuff that was like online, and I just remember the joyous hours that I sunk into it, and it was a different time, you know, being a kid and having the freedom to sit around. I think it's the same thing for, you know, a lot of people in like Halo, kids growing up with Halo. You know, we were we were in college when like Halo started to become a big thing, but we still got that experience, and it's like, if you made that game identical, and then like, how do you find a way to make it as fun as that? Because FPS, like online FPS, isn't, aside from Overwatch, there's not a lot of fun options out there anymore. I think that's why Blizzard capitalized on that, but it's still like Overwatch isn't as crazy fun.
It's gotten stale. The Call of Duties, the Battlefronts, I would argue even the Battlefields to a lesser extent. I know there's still a lot of fans of that. But it's staling. Like Rainbow Six, like there's a flood on the market, and they're all trying to do the same thing with prestige levels and blah blah blah.
It'd be cool. I mean, it'd be cool to see something new that isn't, you know, a franchise that has 18 games in it that just announced that they're putting a battle royale mode in.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's fine. We'll see. I don't know. I can't say hype because I never played the first one. So.
Does Joanna Dark get you going?
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
All the time.
That's a different question.
I would dream of Joanna Dark on the N64 when I was like 13.
I mean, that's another thing. Like, you know, I appreciate the diversity that a game like Perfect Dark brings, where you're playing an FPS as a female.
Back then it was
think of another game. Think of another FPS where your main character that you play as is female.
That's true. That's a good point.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of a single one. I can think of like third person view games. Hey, okay, Metroid Prime. Got it.
I'm definitely a fan
Good call.
of daintier hands in my window holding a gun, you know.
You know, it's
was Perfect Dark one of the silent protagonist games, or was she?
No, she was voice acted. Okay. Yeah.
But Perfect Dark at the time was like a huge forefront. Like it changed a lot of the industry for FPSs and stuff. And like back then it wasn't just Perfect Dark, if I remember correctly. Like oh my god, I'm totally spacing out. It was Doom. Like pretty much all the FPSs, especially on PC, had bots. Not as fully customizable.
There were Time Splitters. I think had bots.
Time Splitters 1 and
2. Because people were ready for that online multiplayer experience, but online wasn't really much of a thing yet. So they were like, you can play 16 players here with 4 people and 12 bots. But that it simulated that experience. That's gone away because of online.
They felt good. Like, they felt better. So
I don't know. But that'd be cool.
For those of you that want to get away from the whining children in your ear playing Call of Duty, if they come out with a bots Perfect Dark, I'm in.
I'm game.
Well, let's move on. We spent a lot of time on that. That was surprising. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. You
played the first one?
Yes.
You
it's
played the first
installed
one
right now on my home PC.
Onyx. loves this game, and actually,
He like hugged it out and cried.
his
after the
reaction
video.
to this is our second most popular video on YouTube currently.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. There's a lot of people excited about
So
this game.
excited.
Oh, yeah.
So excited. Such a good platformer. It feels so good. You know, which is something that, I mean, obviously, if there's one genre that we as a group have just murdered, it's platformers. Like, we've all played it, you know, so... Freaking Rudy, the platform pro over here.
No,
Oh, yeah.
that's Onyx. That is Onyx.
But, I mean, aside from that, just, like... Ori started something. Like, I feel like Ori started a new type of game, not in a genre, but in terms of like, oh, hey, look at all this beautiful art that we're doing, all this crazy painterly stuff, and being able to convey emotion and story with a silent protagonist in like a third-person platformer where there's not really a whole lot of story to tell in the conventional ways, but you know, it just does so many things so well. That trailer. It's been too long since that trailer. I'm ready for that game, like, tomorrow. If that game came out tomorrow with Detroit coming out and all the big, like, blockbusters that we've got in the next couple months, frankly, I would prioritize it over almost anything else that we have playing like that. Like, if that came out tomorrow and Spider-Man was coming out tomorrow, I would play Ori first.
So I don't know if there is a release date that has been announced for this game. Actually, I don't think there's many release dates for Microsoft's games. They're holding a lot of stuff close to their chest.
Yeah, we'll see at E3.
This could be a perfect game to shadow drop. Available now.
man.
$20, whatever, 30, 40, I don't know how much the first one was.
I think
Go
they-
get it now. It's available
I
to
think they
download.
do well in this window, especially with people who've probably heard about the first one. And they did release a definitive edition of the first one where they added new skills and new areas. So, you know, you had opportunities to play through it again. I just, yeah, Ori's great.
Yeah,
Super hyped.
Definitely thinking about picking up the first one personally. Like I watched, you know, Mark Brown, the guy that does the Game Developers Toolkit. He did a video on like how the platforming in this game is just perfect. Like it's just, and the design of everything and the way that everything's laid out is just perfect. And I saw a scene where he was like, "Hey man, spoiler alert," and I was like, "I don't care." And then I was like, "Man, I wish I had played that instead of spoiling myself because it is just that freaking good."
If Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps is anything like Celeste, then I probably need to give it a shot.
Yeah, that's the way that I feel about it. Like I've seen I mean, obviously we saw the trailer, but I've seen the stuff from the first one. And I'm just like, this game is good. It's worth getting it on PC.
Yeah, I would recommend it to anybody.
This will definitely be there, so get hype. Definitely get hype for this one.
Totally.
For sure.
All right, this
Is this
second
a
to last
dream?
game.
Should we Onyx it up here? I need to be here. Like, I should be on here. I'll be Onyx.
Okay,
Okay, guys.
so Scalebound.
Oh! Scalebound, dude! Oh my god! Seriously, Onyx would be losing.
It's not happening, guys. It's not happening. There was a thing on Reset Era the other day. Yeah, there was a thing on Reset Era about the store page for Scalebound appeared again, and Microsoft was like, "Oh, thanks for letting us know that link. That's been there for a long time. It's just a broken link. We need to take it down. Thanks for letting us know. We'll get rid of it." You know, this game has been canceled. For those of you that didn't know, a Platinum Games game with dragons and crazy RPG action.
Love dragons.
It
Who
looked
doesn't love
okay.
Platinum Games?
It looked
I know,
decent.
like,
It looked
come
good.
on, great third-person action with like the seamless flight thing. Like that trailer was so cool.
If this shows up, everybody's standing up.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody's standing up if this appears on screen.
It's one of those things that you look at it and I mean, we've had plenty of these over the years, and some of them have come true 10 or 15 years later, and some of them haven't. But it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, how is that not instant cash flow? They must have really boned that game. Like, they must have been so many struggles in development for them to not want to touch it again. Because it's so... The concept is... You don't get them... Every couple of years, like, a dragon game pops up, and half of them end up being garbage. But, like, I remember PlayStation 3 had, like, a dragon riding, like, flying, like, dogfighting game.
Was it the Panzer Dragoon stuff?
No, I don't think
I thought
so.
that was Xbox.
Oh, that was Xbox
Yeah,
One?
I don't even remember what it was called. The fact that we don't remember what it was called is an example of the fact that you could ruin it. But this was freaking like it had the pedigree. I don't know. I would love to.
They did Nier.
They did Nier. They did. Oh my
Vanguard.
god. Yes.
Bayonetta.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I mean,
like,
Platinum Games. I mean,
It's
they're
Platinum- they
it's,
have
yeah,
clout.
they've got the clout.
Like they,
Yeah.
It could have been, oh my god, it could be so cool, but
If they bring it back, dude, it'd be worth it.
People will be standing
I
up.
mean, the hype would be
And
that's the
it'd be through the
hypiest
roof,
game on this
man.
list, I think.
Be
Oh.
through the freaking
That
roof.
that would be the story of their show. I mean, we talked about, some of these other games would be huge if they were there, but
Well,
Scalebound coming back from the dead would be
especially-
the story from the Microsoft press
Especially
conference.
considering, looking at this list, every single game on this list that is not called Scalebound is a sequel or a remake or a remaster or something. Like,
That's true.
Microsoft is in desperate need of fresh
New
blood,
IP.
right?
Yep.
Yes.
Recore didn't do very well. Like they haven't come out with enough new IPs that have taken
So
off.
real quick side note, and before we get to the final game, do you think that they're going to show up with some new IPs?
I don't ever know.
I hope so,
Like,
man.
what was the last big one that? I mean, Sunset Overdrive. Which
Yeah.
was that a,
Sunset Overdrive was awesome.
the
from what I hear.
one game that I would buy an Xbox One for, right? Like the one that I care about. What else is? I mean, Recore, wasn't that an Xbox? That was Xbox.
That was Xbox
Windows PC.
exclusive on
Yeah.
console. Yep.
Um,
Didn't do so well.
didn't,
It's
yeah,
like
I
6 or
heard-
7
I heard
out of
it had
10s. It
some
wasn't
really
great.
Dumb, like mechanical decisions. What else? What else have they come out with in the Xbox One era? That's what I'm saying. Like
Cuphead.
Like, which that's not
You know,
really.
I know
that's a
where you're going.
distribution
I mean,
deal.
they've got exclusives, but
That's
they
the
don't
thing,
have
is
too
if
many
anyone
great
sits here and says,
new
"Oh, you guys
IPs.
hate Microsoft's," like, no. I want to love all. Like, I want all the games to be great. I want to own every console. I want to have competition, but they just haven't done enough new stuff. Whereas PS4 has,
Yeah.
and they've struck out on a lot of them. Like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say The Order was a good game because it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
But at least they tried a little
pretty.
bit more.
We'll talk about that in the Sony press conference
Yeah.
preview. But no, I agree. I mean, I've got more 360 games than I do PS4 and PS3 combined. So it's like
buy a
it's-
significant amount. So
it is what it
Two
is.
shelves versus one
So,
each.
yeah, Scalebound would be hype.
Scalebound will be super hype, super crazy hype. Let's end on the note that I think a lot of people are hoping that they'll see here, at least fans of Microsoft's games. Halo 6. I mean, you can't have you can't have Xbox without Halo. Like
Pretty
that's as close to a console as you'll get.
I wonder what the sales numbers were.
Like
on
Mario and
5.
Zelda. I don't know. I didn't play 5, obviously. Did play 4.
I did too.
I'm interested to see where they went with 5. It makes me so mad that as a huge Halo fan from 1 to 3, I read all the novels. I was so invested in the lore. I was ready for Fred and Kelly and Linda to show up in these games, the other Spartans, and they never did it. They never pulled it off. Even in Halo 4, after Bungie went away and it was like, here, 343 Industries, I'm like, yes, they're going to do it. They're on the Micro Dyson Sphere from Ghosts of Onyx, and see, I know what I'm talking about. And no, it's like they had Dr. Halsey's show back up, and it's like, okay,
And they showed
but
you.
where's the Spartans?
They showed you the new generation Spartans, like
They
to some
and I'm
degree,
like-
but they
and it's
didn't bring any of the.
and they
the important
screwed
ones
that
in.
up with Reach, but that's for another time. But they did it in Halo 5. They brought in, I believe, Fred, Kelly, and Linda. Like they brought in
Well, you
the
got,
characters from
you
the
got
books.
2 squads of 4. I know that you.
And it wasn't Locke Squad. It was
Yeah.
Chief Squad
Yeah.
with his. Those were the folks from the
yeah, because
novels.
Locke Squad has got Nathan Fillion's character, who was an ODST guy that became a Spartan, I think.
No kidding, really?
Yeah, I believe that's the story.
my
Because I
God.
think Nathan Fillion was the ODST, like he was the main ODST character.
He was.
And when they start the new Spartan program, he becomes one of the new Spartans.
Oh my
I forget
God,
what they
that
call
is.
it. And then
I'll
there's
leave
2
that
others
alone.
in there. I'm pretty sure I could be pulling that out of my ass, and I'm sure they will let us know, but I don't even know how I would know that.
Eric Nyland, and there's another Eric. I so apologize because you didn't get credit on any of these books, and I remember talking to you on LiveJournal of all places about the credit you didn't get for the first few novels and stories of Halo, but they had a plan. Bungie went a completely different direction, and then 343 Industries is fanficking it up over there. So I
mean-
apologize. I that said, I am hyped to see what they do with Halo 6. I'm always in for more Halo. I'm always in, because Halo 2 they screwed up. Halo 3 they redeemed themselves. So Halo 5, whatever. Show me something good with Halo 6.
I mean, I guess I'm intrigued, but
I enjoyed Halo 2.
Halo 2's, well, it's the multiplayer is
Granted,
The campaign.
I
Was,
I literally played them back to back to back.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, no cliff. There's a cliffhanger. All right, There's disc for disc 3, but
I mean, I don't know, man. I remember Halo 5 getting announced. I remember the cinematic with like.
Did you play 5?
No. I actually, you know, and again, I always want to give everyone an excuse to not think that I'm a Microsoft hater. When Halo 5 got like its first like gameplay trailers, and they announced the collector's edition, and they announced the Halo 5 edition Xbox One.
Yeah.
And I was this close because I had just gotten like my first really good job out of college, and I was making better money, and I was like, oh man, I pre-ordered the collector's edition. I didn't even have an Xbox One. I pre-ordered like the $250 collector's edition with the freaking statues and all that for Halo 5. I was like, you know what? This is my excuse to get an Xbox One. I was in, and the closer we got to the release, I had a couple of friends who were big Halo fans. They were like, I don't know, dude. It looks kind of... I was like, yeah, you're probably right. It's not worth buying a whole console. And then I heard it was meh. So it's like, yeah, I would... This is always the question. Yes, I would love to see the glory days of that game return. But when's it going to happen? Now, Resident Evil did it. 7 came back and killed it. And
that's
it took
true.
them generations to get back.
That's true.
I get that. So yes, I would love to see Halo 6 do that. I'm not one of these people that hates on it and goes, oh, I don't want to see... Like, no, you want to see successful storylines and good storytelling and good gameplay.
Yep.
I agree.
But do I think that 343 is going to do it?
Microsoft needs a win. They really do.
Yeah,
They've struggled a lot
do.
this gen, but even like Sea of Thieves was just kind of...
I mean, if
they need something.
If they highlight another E3 with
Scalebound.
like a custom car on the stage and a group of nerds who don't care, it's gonna be. They need it. Yes, I agree, but I don't think Halo 6 is gonna be it. So we'll see.
I hope, because like you said, the lore is there.
Mm-hmm.
They can like knock it out of the park. I remember borrowing books from you and reading, dude. Like the story that they left out of those games is phenomenal. I sincerely wish that like Microsoft, gets 343 and actually does something good story wise. Obviously, multiplayer is going to be there. It's going to be good or at least mediocre.
Here's my bargain with the gods, and this one happened, so it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
Great game. Here's my bargain. Halo 6 can be great if BioWare can come back and redeem themselves with a good Mass Effect. Because I'm beginning to feel one of my favorite sci-fi franchises has now nosedived off a cliff harder than Halo ever did. It pains me so much. I would love to see both of them come back up.
Yeah, I think Halo 6 has better odds.
But I think I'd be mad if like that's the sort of thing that I think about. It's like if Halo 6 came back, but BioWare never gets to make another Mass Effect game or another Dead Space or whatever.
So to wrap this up, looking at this list, are you if this was their conference, and I know there'll be third-party stuff littered throughout, but if this was their first second-party showing, if all of these things showed up, how would you feel about their press conference? Regardless of what the quality might actually be of the games themselves.
It'd be freaking epic, man. Like if Scalebound came back, like you said it earlier, that if they brought that back from the dead, that would be the story of the conference.
Yeah. If this was the whole thing, if they started with Crackdown 3, I'd be like, okay, softball, interesting. And then went to Gears of War, I'd be like, okay, fanboys, I don't care anymore. And then Viva Pinata 3 would be the first, like, ooh, interesting.
Switching it
and
up.
that's like an easy one. Right? It's not like a big epic thing.
No.
And then they hit you with the Banjo-Kazooie, and then they hit you with the Perfect Dark, which would be cool to see regardless of whether I'm hyped.
Right.
And then Ori, and then Scalebound, and of course they finish. Yeah, I'd lose my mind. I'd be like, oh man, Microsoft won the conference. Like, and I haven't even seen Sony yet, but it'd be hard to top that.
Yeah.
So Microsoft has the ingredients. They have what they need. They're obviously not going to use all the ingredients in whatever concoction they're coming up with.
The secret sauce.
But they have something. So I think overall, you definitely want to tune in and watch the Microsoft press conference. It's going to be tasty. It might not be the flavor you're looking for, but I think there will be some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
They had a surprisingly good conference last year. I think that they will have a good one this year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Well, tune in for some more. We've got more press conference coverage, previews coming up ahead of the big E3 week, and we'll be doing our reactions to all the press conferences, so be sure to check those as well. And, catch you next time.
Deuces.
Like what you saw? Check out some of our other videos, and be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. Thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.